Whoa, 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 whoa. I'm on a high tonight because...
You startled me.
Yeah, because we've just had an amazing weekend away in London.
Yes.
Did you have a good time?
I had a great time.
Oh, I loved it. It was so good. We went to see Sam Fender, the People Watching Tour 2025.
Yeah.
What did you think of it?
I'm not like the biggest Sam Fender fan. Not that I'm like
You just
a
don't listen
hater.
to yeah, you just don't like...
I don't listen to Sam Fender, but you do. So I knew like bits and pieces of the songs, and
Yeah.
I still had a great time.
You definitely went for me.
Oh, 100%.
Which I appreciate so much.
It was fun. I still had fun.
Yeah.
It's a concert.
Yeah. So we thought we'd talk about our weekend in London. We also went to another show, but I'll save that for the second half of this pod.
Pog. You don't want to give a teaser of what it is.
It was at the O2 Arena, all right?
Ooh.
It was a big, big show, and it was amazing, but I want to keep them guessing. It's probably going to be in the title.
Okay.
It's probably going to be in the title, but I'm going to talk about that later on. Don't want to give anything away right at the beginning.
Secrets.
So, let's go through the Saturday. Going to London to see Sam Fender.
That was Friday.
Was it Saturday? No. Oh yeah, Sunday today, isn't it? We drove to London with our friend, my best mate Harrison, who's also a singer as well. So it was a fun drive up, singing all the songs, and you're in the back
Studying.
studying. Sarah's got her Life in the UK test coming up.
Yeah, 2 days.
We're gonna talk about that in a future episode when you've passed.
Yeah, I told Dan that I didn't really want to talk about it until afterwards. I don't want to jinx myself, and I just...
Yeah, I was saying I could quiz you and all that on the pod and see how British you are, but you're like, let me actually pass first.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a tough one to study for. But.
Yeah, so let's skip through the driving there.
Yeah.
It's just a drive.
Just a drive. Harrison drove most of the way, though.
He drove the whole way.
He slammed on the brakes by accident.
Yeah, he put his
I
left
almost
foot.
went straight through my phone because I was sitting in the middle of the back seat so I could hear. And I was just like scrolling on my phone at this point because we were there, like basically there.
Yeah, we have an automatic car.
Yeah, so I had headphones on, just watching TikToks, and my seatbelt was on. But all of a sudden we braked and like I smashed my face into the phone.
Yeah, if you've ever put your left foot on the brake accidentally.
Thinking it was a clutch, yeah.
Put so much power into it. Yeah.
I was like, fucking hell, what's going on? I hope he didn't think I was shouting at him.
Like, we're there.
Because it was just a startle, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, we got to London and we left the car at the our hotel near the O2, and then we jumped on the train up to Stratford to go to the London Stadium. Did you know anything about the stadium, like, at all before going?
No, I don't give a shit about stadiums.
Fair enough. But yeah,
Sorry, they're all the same.
No,
to
I mean,
me.
like, who plays there or anything like that?
No.
Nah, it's West Ham.
I didn't even know it was a football club.
Yeah.
Stadium.
Well, it's West Ham's football
like
stadium.
the O2's not a football club.
No.
Stadium.
No, it's just an arena.
I just thought it was an arena.
Yeah. Well, the London Stadium was built for the Olympic Games.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's pretty cool. Yeah.
No, so in 2012, I think hopefully I'm getting...
It's 2012.
Yeah.
It's part of my life in the UK.
Yeah. So I don't know if you noticed, but the pitch was like massive because you've got a running track around as well.
Okay.
So
no, I didn't.
Yeah, so it was a nice big open stadium. But I'd never been there before either. I just knew that West Ham play there now. So I was really excited to go because I'm such a stadium...
You love a stadium.
Dork, geek, whatever it's called.
I don't get it.
I
support it, but I don't get it.
I just appreciate, like...
And why haven't we gone to the Coliseum yet? That's like
I haven't been
oldest
to
stadium.
Rome before. But if I went to Rome, I'll be going there. But it was annoying.
Before that, though, something big happened.
Oh, it did.
Dan.
I don't know if I'm proud of it.
But I
had a good time.
Dan decided to have a drink, and you haven't had a drink in like 8 months.
Yeah, my first drink since October, I think. Which isn't like I didn't have a problem, but I just thought I just don't fancy it now. And then every time we'd go out, we'd like drive, so I'd be the driver.
It's just never been like a big deal to have a drink. So
yeah, but also
especially having small kids, the day after always sucks when you have small kids.
The hangovers, the last few times I properly drunk and got drunk, the hangovers were just too much for me.
Yeah,
and it would affect me like mentally as well.
But even like last year when we technically were drinking, we drank 4 times out of the whole year. Like it's not like we drink a lot anyway. But yeah, you had a couple drinks.
Yeah, so I thought, I'm not.
Dan really loosened up. We'll get into that.
Right. So, yeah. After the show, I got a bit messy, and that's coming up.
You were messy. You weren't to the point that you were like messy drunk. You were like goofy drunk.
Very extremely goofy. Like I don't know how I didn't get into trouble, but we'll talk about that in a minute. But so we're at the hotel, and as we were checking in, Harrison was like, "I'm just gonna grab a beer now at the bar." So I was like, "Okay, do I buy myself one now? Do I get a beer now, or do I get a Coke?" So I just thought, like, if I'm gonna drink, I don't just want 2 or 3 or 1 or 2, because it feels like
tired.
But it feels like such a long amount of time since I had a beer. I don't want to just buy 1 or 2 and they'd be like, I had 2 beers and I didn't even get drunk. So it was like
binge drinking.
I might as well have just had a Coke. Does that make any sense?
I think so, but yeah.
So we had a pint followed by a tequila.
Yeah, I didn't. I had a couple drinks throughout the day.
It's dangerous when I hang out with Harrison. All right, I'm not throwing Harrison under the bus, but we've got a lot of history from the time when we were in Austria.
Yeah, but Harrison never pushes you to have a drink.
No, he doesn't.
It's just like one of those things.
I'm not blaming Harrison, by the way. So I make my own choices. H, I'm not blaming you.
No, it's not that at all. But yeah.
But yeah, it felt like the perfect time to have my first drink. And before we even got off the train, before we even queued for Sam Fender, I think we were at drink 6.
Yeah, we got food, and you had a drink with your food, another drink, and then we went to like
went to a bar.
Is it a cocktail bar?
Yeah, they do food there, but we just ate.
We had just eaten, so we got
the pub
cocktails.
was absolutely packed.
Yeah,
so it would take 45 minutes. So we got a table just for drinks. So it only made sense to get like 3 drinks at that table.
Yeah, and we decided to start queuing for Sam Fender. And we walked around the stadium to our gate, and the queue was like wrap around so long. And it was surprising because the doors were already open. We decided to give it a little bit of time, thinking we don't need to be sitting in there.
We want to see the opening act, but we went in we queued up at 6, and I think the doors opened at 5:30, and that's for like the people standing, trying to get close to the stage. So we queued up fairly early. Bear in mind, he came on at like 20 past 8.
Yeah.
So it got there, started queuing at 6, and they had technical difficulties, didn't they?
Yeah.
Which, like, I understand happens. Of course, it's not their fault, but it's a major stadium. It's a major.
We missed the opening act.
Yeah. We missed the
first opening act. There were 2. It was.
There was 3. There was 3. I can't remember who they all were, but I've got a photo. There was 3 opening acts.
We missed the first 1.5.
That's what I meant. We basically missed the second one as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we got to our seats, but we decided to get a couple of beers before that as well.
The queue getting a drink at the very beginning wasn't very long. It was
empty, yeah.
Yeah, same with we got t-shirts and stuff. That wasn't very long. Then we sat down, and then it was right before Sam Fender came on that we decided to go get a couple more drinks.
Yeah, before we go
and
now.
And the queue for a drink.
It was wild.
It was like a 40-minute queue. That's a long queue for it's supposed to be a big, huge stadium who has football fans coming in.
The staff, I think it must be different on game day. Like if you've been to West Ham matches, is it any different? Because it just seemed like there was one person pouring pints.
It has to
It
just didn't seem like it was equipped to be a massive football stadium. Like when people go to football games, they're getting drinks. It's not like this is a whole new thing.
Is it a staff issue or is it the lack of bars? because the layout of it, you go in on like the ground level, and then you come out to the stadium like halfway up, don't you? And you can go down to the pitch.
I can't see it even being a staff issue. Like maybe per bar, but like there were people.
Finish what I mean though, just because on that same level you can now walk around like the whole stadium, I believe. But you can also go upstairs and then you're on the tier above. Whereas other stadiums, you'd have stairs that go up to that top tier and then they have their own bars. And the tier below would have their own bars. So it's like 2 tiers are sharing the same amount of bars.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Even though they are dotted across.
But it's a professional football stadium. People who go to football games typically get a drink. And there's places to get a drink outside of the stadium, like right outside where you're not exiting the stadium, but like outside and inside and on the inner inside. There's a ton of places to get drinks. The queues should not have been that long. Yeah. I've never been to a stadium where the queues were that long.
Yeah.
Like a queue's a queue, but yeah.
But when you're actually out in the seats, absolutely stunning stadium. I thought it was really nice out there. The white seats and everything.
It's a stadium. It's like
you don't care about stadiums. I appreciate the stadiums, but we had like halfway line seats.
Yeah.
We weren't very high up at all, were we?
No.
And yeah, absolutely loved it. And they sang he sang all my favourite songs. The people watch on the way back home.
Well, it was the people watching tour. So.
Oh yeah, of course. 17 going under.
Yeah.
Whoa, whoa.
Whoa.
Yeah. I just had a great time.
Yeah, that was fun.
But I did miss one song because I thought the queue's not going to be very long, and it was it slowed down, and I never leave early. I needed a wee. That's what it was.
Yeah.
I needed a wee, bursting because of all I hadn't been drinking in ages. I thought, well, on the way back, I might as well grab some beers for us because there was like nobody there. I missed pretty much almost the whole song, which is one of the ones I really like. But
yeah,
Get You Down it was. And to get you down. Yeah. Anyway,
show was good. There's not much of a review I can really give. It's just it's a concert. It was great. Yeah,
it was great. We were singing, dancing, everything. But then I think
by the time we left the stadium, though,
Friday night is when it gets. The interesting bit is actually after the show, and that's not like shitting on the show because it was great.
It was fantastic, yeah.
But by now I've had I don't know how many 9 or 10 beers, but in the mix of that is tequila and Jack Daniels as well.
And then if you've ever left a stadium, you know that it can be like
a lot of people.
A lot of people.
80,000 people there were.
Yeah, a lot of people, and we're in the center of London, so most people are taking like the underground and things like that. So everybody's walking to the train station. Yeah. And
I bet before we go on, bear in mind now, he finished it with hypersonic missiles. Mm-hmm. I'm just going to go, whoa, whoa, even though that's not it.
Yeah.
The whole stadium is...
Hypersonic missiles.
Hey, stop we got our dog here.
Hi, Frederick. Oh, he came to
But I can't think of like the chant bit. Whoa. Anyway, the whole stadium was chanting along to it. It's driving me mad that I can't think of it.
That was it. That's what people were doing.
Hypersonic missiles. Yeah, but whoa, whoa, whoa. It's 17 going under.
I know, but that's what people were doing while we were walking. That was the chant.
But I'm saying the song he finished on was Hypersonic Missiles, which is another song where you chant like that.
Okay.
It's driving me mad. I can't remember. Anyway, so I'm happy. I'm very, very happy. And there's a lot of people around. And you know, there's people going, woo, woo, woo.
Yeah.
Wah! And everyone's going on. And I go, I'd love to start one of those chants. I've never
As Dan said it though, like somebody who wasn't near us went, whoa, and then the whole group started doing it, and then Dan was just going, that could have been me. Yeah. I could have done that.
Yeah, I was fuming. But,
and then he talked about it for the next 20 minutes.
Yeah, and I had a great idea in my head that before Sam came out,
Hey Jude started
playing. Came on, and the whole stadium were going, na, 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 na. So I went, right, someone's already done the whoa, whoa, and they're probably not going to join in. again. So I'm just going to throw a curveball there and go for Hey Jude. And I was like, will you help me though? Will you join in, you and Harrison?
Again, talked about it for like 20 minutes.
There's
during
so
the
many
walk.
people around.
Yeah.
And I went, nah. And some guy behind me went, nah, 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 nah. And so me and this guy did it for like 3 seconds.
This was
nah, 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 nah.
Dan has his timeline confused.
I was very drunk. But okay, my side of this was
It was the very end.
okay. What?
It was the very end.
This
of
is
the
what
walk.
my memory of it is. As I was saying this lot, and I was saying it out loud, like I'm gonna do no 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 no. So then I went for it. I went nah nah, and then some other guy right behind us started doing it at the same time. So I was like, yes, I got one. But I went no 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 no, yes, I got someone, and didn't carry it on in my memory. Turned around to you, I went, it's gonna work, and I went for it, and no one joined in, and I was very
That's
angry.
not what happened.
What happened? That's literally how I remember
I
it.
had at this point I had 3 drinks in total, and it was like spaced between 5 or 6 hours from my first drink. So I was completely sober. You talked about doing the chant for a good 20 minutes. You were like whisper saying it to me, and you were like, we were stopped. Like the whole crowd was stopped at a stop sign because there were traffic people like telling you when to go and stuff. So we're all stopped, and you turned around to me and you were like, I'm going to go, nah, nah. And you made eye contact with somebody behind you and like gave them the creepiest stare into their eyes.
Nah, nah.
They did not say anything.
Oh. This is why I don't drink.
I was like, okay, Dan, you can do it. You have to be louder, though, if you want people to join in. And then maybe a good 7 minutes later.
This is all like immediately happening in my head.
We're finally walking again.
What was I doing for those 7 minutes? Just walking like...
No, for those 7 minutes, you were talking to me about wanting to do the chant and being, oh, I don't think I can do it. Nobody's going to join me. Like, that's what you were doing the entire time. And then we finally got to like where you turn to get onto the platform to get into the train station. Like you have to cross a bridge to get into the train station. So we were going around that corner, and then you're like, all right, I'm doing it. And then you started going, nah, nah. And I joined you because I told you I would. And then somebody in front of you, not behind you, in front of you joined in with his friend. And they didn't say, hey, Jude. They said, Jordy? Nah, 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 nah. Jordy. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what they did. And then you got excited that somebody joined in.
I do not remember that.
Then you got excited somebody joined in, but then you stopped. Yeah.
Well, it worked. I got 2 random people to join in.
Then,
What about the train? What about the train, though?
As we were walking, though, I said, I don't think you should do the chant because we've done this before and it didn't work. And you didn't respond at all to me when I said that. And I was like, okay, he doesn't remember. And yeah, like 20 minutes later, you like whip around and look at me and you go, hit or miss.
I didn't.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It was like the slowest response on the planet.
Oh my Lord. I didn't.
You did.
I do remember that.
Yeah. And I was like, did you just remember that? And you're like, no, I knew what you're talking about. I was like,
you since that happened, it's been 2 nights. 2 nights. I don't know. It's been a long time, and you haven't told me I said that until right now. Oh, I said it or miss. Oh, Christ.
That was a TikTok trend in like 2019.
Yeah. Hit or miss. I bet you. I don't even know what it is.
Yeah, I don't even remember it.
Oh, that's awful. But then we got onto the actual train and
packed,
absolutely rammed like
Yeah.
sardines. But luckily, we had right at the back of the carriage by the window.
Mm-hmm.
And previously, on the way there on the train, I don't like the underground because everyone is very just keeping this. Fair enough, keep yourself to yourself. But everyone just looks miserable. Everyone looks so like if you turn to somebody on the train in London and go, "You right, mate? Having a good day?" You're the crazy guy on the train, yeah. So I'm like thinking that already, and now that we're on the train and I'm bollocksed, very drunk, I'm.
So Dan's standing. We're standing. Sorry, he's standing next to like the windows that connect carriages, so you're not like next to each other and you can't walk to see each other, but there are windows there to let air in and stuff. And the guy in the other car, who was standing by that window, sneezed twice, I think.
Yeah,
and then,
but he sneezed out the window, which is facing me. So I hear this like choo, choo, and I go, aren't I the popular one? Or something like that, because of Ace Ventura. Yeah. I can't remember what happened from there. But he laughed.
Yeah. You were joking with him.
Yeah.
And he knew that you were joking with him, but you're like, he keeps sneezing on me. He said it to me. And he's like, no, I sneezed in my jacket. It was just towards you, so you heard it. And you're like, no, I know, I'm only joking or something. And then I don't know what he was saying because I could only see
my head.
But you were like, you were talking to him and you're like, stick your head out here. This is great.
Yeah, my head was out the window between the two carriages, so it's not going to get it off. Don't worry. It wasn't out the side.
Still dangerous.
Yeah, probably. But right out. So the window's... I don't know if you're watching this and not just listening. The window's right here, and I'm now out of it, and the wind is blowing, and it's like, this is great. And I look at the guy and go, come out here. It's well nice, because he's sweating like crazy.
So he does, and you pull your head back through to...
We have a high five.
Yeah. And then you pull your head back out, look directly at me and Harrison and go, I made a friend!
I made a friend. But I was so happy I made him laugh and stuff. And then I had this genius joke in my head. I thought it was going to be genius.
Wasn't genius.
Yeah, I know. But I think because I was like, aren't I the popular one? And that's from Ace Ventura. Mm-hmm. And in that same film, he's driving a Jeep and the camera's just on him and he's going all over the place, like a bumpy road.
Yeah.
Pans out because he's in the jungle, but he's on a tarmac road and it's perfectly smooth. I thought, I got a great idea. Because when you're looking at the carriage that you're not in, it's moving around.
Yeah, it looks like it's moving a lot.
So I start going, gee, wait for it. It's going to be bumpy for you. Just nothing. Like, just no laughter at all. And I continue going, Jesus, whoa.
Yeah, and you kept looking at me and Harrison and going, this is hilarious. I'm funny. Laugh. But I wasn't laughing because there was a couple like right directly behind you, and you were like centimeters away from crashing into the girl. I know what
you're gonna say next as well. They're boring.
What?
They're boring.
Yeah. Yeah. And then you kept saying that everybody was boring.
You were like, careful, you're gonna bump into someone. I was like, no, I'm not. And they're so boring. No one's having fun. I was that guy on the train.
You were.
But I mean, I was obnoxious, but I was like, if you can hear my stomach rumble,
I could hear that.
But I wasn't like an asshole, I hope.
No.
I hope that
No, I don't think so.
Except
for when you called people boring. That was it.
Oh yeah, that was a bit of an
And then when the guy from the other side of the train window got off, he like gave you another high five and said bye to you. And then Harrison
out there,
like, did you get his number?
If you're out there, message me your sound.
Yeah, so we got off the train.
And we went back to the O2 because that's where...
We went to the O2 because they have pubs and bars and stuff.
We went back to the O2 because we were staying there. We left the O2 to go to the stadium.
But we went to the actual O2 stadium. We had not gone to the O2
No, I know.
prior.
Okay, we got off at North Greenwich. Went into the O2 because we were staying 5-10 minutes away from there.
Dan was bursting for a wee.
Oh yeah, I was.
So Harrison had the idea of going to a pub that he had been to before in the O2.
If you haven't been to the O2, just quickly explain it. It's not. First time I went there, I thought you go in and then it's just the big arena, but it's a whole shopping centre and bars and restaurants that go around the outside.
Yeah, and anybody can get in.
Yeah, so there's bars, restaurants, and everything in there. So we went to All Bar 1, is what it's called, the first one.
And there was a bouncer, and he was asking for our IDs.
Yeah.
So Harrison showed his. You had mine, and you had found mine in your wallet first, so I took that.
I'm like digging for mine.
And you're like dancing, going, I need a wee, where's my ID? I need a wee.
Show him the ID.
He takes it, and he's looking at it. And then I can't remember.
He goes, we haven't got a toilet in here, by the way.
Yeah.
And I went, okay, give me that back. I'll see you in 5 minutes.
You said it. You were so much more funny and like kind than how you just said it. You went, okay, and like snatched it away from him, like literally really quick.
I'll
Thank
take that.
We'll be back in 5 minutes. And then you ran away, like bolted away.
I know there's
he
general
was
toilets.
laughing hysterically.
Public toilets.
He thought it was hilarious.
Yeah.
So you had a wee.
And
you made it.
just shouting, "There's a toilet in this one."
Yeah.
And I was like, I know there's a toilet down here, and I'm not risking that again. So yeah, how do we went? And then we went into the Slug and Lettuce.
Yeah, which is like a club kind of thing.
You can eat there in the day, and it turns into a club.
A small nightclub, like people dancing a little bit. But
I haven't been in a Slug and Lettuce in.
This is where you might have been a little bit rude.
How? To who?
Strangers.
Well, dancing, you mean?
Yes.
I was not rude. People were just boring.
You were rude.
So I haven't been in a club in ages. Years, I want to say.
You're like a really funny club person. Like you do enjoy to dance and make yourself look stupid, and you just don't care. And it's really great. The only critique I would give you about that side of you is
spatial awareness.
Spatial awareness, because we were at the bar. Harrison was getting drinks. Mm-hmm. I think I only had one drink there. That was my last drink. So I got a drink. Harrison got a drink. And as we were waiting for your drink, a song came on that you liked. I don't know what it was.
I was like,
and you whipped around and boomed into the dance floor and like knocked into this old lady who was holding her drink. Old lady, I'm like, she was like 60.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because Lionel Richie had just been.
Yeah, Lionel Richie was just playing. And you bumped into her. She spilled her drink like all down her. You didn't take one.
If I was aware of it, I would definitely have said sorry.
Yeah, when you notice that you bump into people, you do say sorry. But I do wish that you had a little bit of more spatial awareness.
Let me give you an example of this. All right, now go. Walk out the door. Yeah, that song was playing, and I'm just in.
I will survive.
Yeah, I'm in the middle on my own. You and Harrison are watching me from the side. Harrison's filming me. I might include a video into this. I probably won't though. Of me just dancing through random people who are just like swaying left to right.
Let's be fair. It was a group of like older women that at that club. Not all of them, no, but like a good amount of the people there were older women.
Yeah, I didn't notice that.
I did.
I don't see age. Everyone's the same. What does that mean?
Dunno.
Everyone can have fun, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah,
just because they're older doesn't mean they can't be dancing.
No, I know, but like...
And usually, older people dance more because they're more carefree and they're getting away from the kids and all that. Anyway, so I'm literally like dancing, but not in the same spot, dancing through people. Mm-hmm. Like, don't know how I'm doing that. And then it goes... You think I'll crumble? You think I'll lay down and die? Oh no, not I. As I said, you think I'll lay down and die? I literally
laid on the floor,
ran and jumped and landed on my back, and I'm just led on the floor going, lay down and die. Oh no, not I. Just right in the middle of the
jump up.
Then I jump up, carry on dancing, and I go, oh, yeah, that's enough for me. Come back, and then I danced to about 10 more songs.
No. You go over to an empty seat that's nowhere near me and Harrison. You pull out the chair and you're like mouthing to us like, I can't be asked. I can't be asked. And you sit down and then you immediately jump back up and run to the dance floor.
Yeah. I was having fun.
You had a great time. It was fun.
Yeah, but we were literally there till closing. Like the lights turned on.
Yeah.
And now Harrison, I mentioned.
We got in a photo booth.
We did. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had a photo booth. And then, as I mentioned at the start, Harrison is a singer. So he's just released a song. run away. And we were like, right, it's a great idea. I'll film you. Considering how smashed I was, really good camera work. So I'm like in front of Harrison walking backwards, and he's just lip syncing to a song, and then you've got like the big O2 opening and all this.
Yeah.
But
Harrison's also a little bit drunk, so he's a bit silly.
Drunk.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And it's like
doing knee slides.
Run away. So like he's like running in circles inside the O2, and you've got all these stewards or security guards.
Yeah, they were
like,
security
all right,
guards.
guys, come on then. All right. And we are just basically we've got earplugs in as far as they're concerned.
I walked away from you guys at this point. I couldn't deal with
we're like it's
being told off by a security guard.
2.5 minute song, just under 3 minute song. So that's as long as we're gonna be. And it's fun. It's really funny. It's really good. And Harrison even did a knee slide, right?
Yeah.
And then high-fived the security guard on the way out. Pretended to hit his head on one of the big support posts. And some guy went, "Did you just hit his head?" Just like this massive laugh. Like,
you should put that in.
If I can get it from Harrison, I'll include the clip. But it's just how he turns, looks away from us, and you can see the back of his head. And then we come out, and it's chucking it down with rain, or it just had been.
Yeah, it was not raining.
It was soaking wet.
It had been raining.
I said, or it had been raining.
Yeah, it was not raining.
Yeah. So I said to Harrison, right, stand by the entrance, like outside, and I'll get a picture of you. I think I said something like, pretend you're running. Because of he's run away.
Yeah.
He starts running, so every picture I'm taking is just blurry because it's pitch black out.
And then he comes over to you.
He goes, "Oh, let me see it.
Let me see it." And he was upset that you had just taken pictures. He's like, "No, you have to film it."
And so just ran off back
to the beginning, the front of the O2.
Yeah, and as he got to the doors, there's a random guy on a date with a random girl. We don't have a clue who they are. And then he starts running back towards me, and I'm filming, and this guy just joins them. They're holding hands now. Woo! Wee! Wee! Just running towards me. What is going on? Started talking to this random guy called George. I think his name was.
Not a clue.
Random. They follow each other on Instagram and stuff. And then went our own ways, got in a black cab, went back to the hotel, and that was Friday night done. Should we wrap that day up there, or did anything else happen?
I mean, in the hotel, it was just me and Dan, because Harrison had his own hotel.
Yeah.
We were going to sleep, and you had the light switches on your side of the bed. Like, you could reach them when you're laying down. I don't know if that's a standard thing in hotels anymore. But you can reach them when you're laying down. So I said, Dan, could you turn the lights off? And you were like, yeah, give me a second. And I was like, okay. So like, I was like, I fall asleep to The Office typically. So I was watching The Office, and then like 5 minutes had gone by, and I was like, Dan, could you turn the lights off now? You're like, I'm busy planning our Scotland trip. And I was like, what? We're not going to Scotland. And I look at you, and you're just like dead asleep.
Planning our Scotland holiday. I have no memory of saying that, but I do have a memory of saying something, and you go, what? And in my head, I'm thinking, why did you say that? I meant to say something else, and I just passed out. And I woke up the next morning, so now it's Saturday morning.
Yeah.
And I woke up at 9 o'clock in the morning, but our hotel curtains, that's the most boring thing to talk about. Blackout curtains, best blackout curtains I've ever seen in my life.
They were great curtains.
I woke up and I was like, oh, it must be like 3 a.m. Even though we probably got in at 3 a.m. I can't remember. And I was like, oh, what? So I looked at my phone to see the time. It was 9 o'clock. I was like, how was it 9 a.m.? Where was I going with that?
You in a blind spot?
Yeah, I looked out the window. It was really bright. And then I hadn't... Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Yeah, first hangover I've had in a long time. And
you did well.
It's just a headache.
You did well.
I wasn't sick or anything like that. I just didn't feel 100%. Felt groggy.
And then we checked out of that hotel.
The shower was phenomenal.
Yeah, moved the car and then walked and met up with Harrison, who was staying really close.
Yeah, we're like
and we got breakfast
10 minutes
with
apart
him.
walking wise. So we met halfway for breakfast, which I'm going to shout out. It's called River Gardens Cafe in Greenwich.
It was really good.
Oh, my Lord. American pancakes? American pancakes.
I didn't have pancakes.
Bakery. What did you have?
I had...
Eggs Benedict.
Yeah, Benedict.
Yeah. It was just exactly what I needed. It was really good. So if you're looking for a place that does decent food, River Gardens Cafe in Greenwich.
We should speed this along a little bit because I feel like we're not even going to get to the other show that we saw.
Well, now Harrison's going home now because he's got a gig of his own to play, and we've got another show at the O2, but that's at like 6:00.
Yeah.
So we went into
London,
walked
because
around
I'm
a bit.
studying. Like, I've seen all this stuff in London before, but because I'm studying for my Life in the UK test, I wanted to see a couple of things that I had been reading about. So it was like we did only free stuff. We were going to try to attempt to go to a museum, but by the time we would have gotten into the museum, we would have only had like 45 minutes to get there. So we kind of just strolled around London.
Yeah, we went to Buckingham Palace, Westminster Abbey,
Parliament.
Yeah, and then we walked to Waterloo Station and went back to the O2. So we just skipped through the entire day.
Yeah, we didn't really do much. We went to the vaults. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we went to the O2. We had kind of just a walk around. We got food there. We had dinner.
Yeah, chopsticks and then a gelato.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. I got a milkshake, but
was it good? I didn't even ask you if it was good.
Yeah, it tasted like strawberry cheesecake.
Yeah, I know. But I had an ice cream and we were looking at booking another hotel for that night. And I was just so kind of just out of it in a way. I was just kind of broken. I was just like... I
didn't think you were at this point. I think you were just distracted. You were like... Because we weren't sure if we were going to be staying the night in London again or coming home. We had Dan's mom watching the kids. Yeah. So we had confirmed with her that it would be okay if we decided to stay because otherwise we're going to be getting home really late.
Yeah, like early hours.
So she said it was fine, and we were looking for for a hotel,
a cheap hotel outside of London.
Yeah, slightly outside of London.
Yeah. So anyway, so booked one, but we'll move on. So now it was time to wait for the cue of the show. The show we were going to, but they had a merch stand, so I just need to put my hoodie on a minute. It was time for the highlight show of the weekend for me.
Yeah.
Sam Fender was absolutely class. But I booked tickets to see Kill Tony months and months
It's a comedy show for people who don't know, because I didn't know.
If you don't know what Kill Tony is, it's a controversial show because of the host. But the idea of the show, well, the main point of the show is anyone can put their name in a bucket if they're a comedian or just want to give it a go. And if your name is pulled, you get 60 seconds uninterrupted to do stand-up. And then after that, they get interviewed by Tony Hinchcliffe. It's created some like massive comedians that like really help their careers and stuff. And then if you're really bad, they can destroy your dreams right in front of everybody.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is like being like kind of my binge show for the last God knows how long, a few years. It's
like, yeah, it's a comedy show, and you're seeing either up and coming people who are like not that great and they end up failing, or you end up seeing like somebody who's really, really good.
Gem,
yeah.
Yeah.
But Tony had some controversial things happening, so I feel like it is important to say that it's a controversial show.
Yeah. So
I know that
I love the show.
Yeah, I know that comedy shouldn't have politics involved, but because it's American politics, it's involved.
Yeah,
Sorry.
he did a Trump rally and said some things, and I watched Kill Tony for the comedians and some of the regulars on there as well. It's just great, and I just don't want to get involved in the political things. Otherwise, I won't watch anything.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. Like, I think we listened to Ricky Gervais today on the drive home, and I do agree with a lot of things that he says. It's not about
it's not about the subject.
Just because you watch somebody who has a different point of view than you doesn't mean that you are that person.
No, yeah, you can joke about something, but the joke has to be good. You can't just say to someone.
I don't think Tony's jokes were good though. Sorry.
Yeah,
I'm gonna interject there.
Yeah, but like, I'm a strong believer in like, you should be able to joke about anything, but if the joke is, if there's no comedy in it and it's just like,
an attack.
Your mum's an asshole, that's not a joke.
Yeah.
If you have a topic and it's not just like shitting on someone, but it's a very clever written out joke, then the subject doesn't really matter that much as long as it's a well-crafted joke.
Yeah.
I might not laugh at everything because something could be close to home.
But I'll
appreciate the fact that it's just not for me.
Other than this show, Kill Tony, I have never heard of Tony Hinchcliffe. Is that what it is? I had never heard of him.
You don't know his name.
I had never heard of him before, and I truthfully didn't even know about what happened at the Trump rally. I don't follow Trump rallies, so I just
But
I didn't know about that either.
The only things that you've seen about him is the
bad stuff. Yeah.
I had no idea who he was. I started watching Kill Tony from like YouTube Shorts and TikToks, and that wasn't Tony. It was
the other.
It was the comedians on it, and I was always like, where do I watch this? Because I'm seeing other people clip, like little bits,
shorts and stuff.
And then I finally found where it was, and there's some. Anyway, just going around and round about. It's a controversial. It was a fucking great show.
It was a great show.
It was really, really good. It was 2.5 hours. Like the whole show was.
The main bit.
We were in there for like 3.5 hours.
We had great seats. We were like right up front.
Yeah, we were at row L, on the floor. So
11.
A, B, C, D. Yeah, I think it's 12.
11 or 12.
Yeah. But they had. If you do watch Kill Tony, and you're wondering who was there, skip like 30 seconds if you don't want to have any spoilers, because this might come out before the episode comes out.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, first of all, he has guest judges, doesn't he? So we had Sam Talent, which is, you remember?
Yeah.
Remember which one's which?
Yep.
Sam was absolutely hilarious.
Yeah, he was good.
But he's such a big guest. He's done loads of Kill Tonys, so he really gets the show.
Yeah.
And then Martin Phillips started it off. He was good. And then a couple of bucket pulls. And then Ari Matti came out.
He was great.
Oh, he's
funny.
I said to you before, didn't I? Ari Matti is my favourite one.
Yeah.
He's just so clever with the jokes.
Yeah.
The Estonian assassin, they call him. And then he became the second judge, sort of thing.
Yeah.
He pulled up a seat, so he was there for the remainder. We had other
Thank
people.
God, though, because I feel like he saved some of the comedy.
Yeah.
In some of the bucket pulls and stuff.
Who else did we? Basically, there wasn't many regulars there because they're all in America.
It's in London,
It's a lot, but like, so we're talking about a couple of bucket pulls, just a couple. You were so uncomfortable with one of them, weren't you?
Actually, like a lot of them, I was really uncomfortable with the first one because
I felt bad for him.
I felt bad for him because he started off the show. He was the first person up there who wasn't like.
This is the O2 Arena.
Yeah,
it's like 12,000 people in there.
Yeah. I think he had only done comedy a couple of times.
Yeah, and I do it with my mic. What he was doing. So he came out and he's like, "Hi everyone." So people were like clapping, encouraging. But he's like, "Yeah, yeah."
But
I don't remember what he's talking.
It wasn't even just him moving the mic away. They were having sound issues.
Yeah, but because it's an arena, if you're not close like this and you come away, then it's. I don't know. I'm not a sound guy, but he was holding the mic like down here, and then he'd come back up. So it was the natural whoa. But it also sounded like it was cutting out as well. Yeah. So people were just immediately
booing. Yeah.
And Tony and everyone are looking out like give him a chance, sort of thing. And it got to the end of his set, and everyone was like booing, saying, "We can't hear him. Yeah, speak into the mic." And he's like, "Wow, this is a tough crowd. Why are you booing him? Give him a chance." Yeah. And then they finally, by like bucket 2 or 3. Realized, we can't hear them.
Well, no, because then Tony got something in his ear, and somebody said like what the audience was saying that they can't hear or whatever. Couldn't hear him. Yeah, he did give a little bit of a speech about like, please wait for the person to have their 1 minute, and then if you don't like them, boo as much as you want, but at least give them their minute.
Because he was like, because it's an arena. If you're near the back and 5 seconds into someone's thing, it doesn't immediately make you laugh. They start booing, and then 20 seconds in, they could make an absolute gem of a joke, but you've missed it, and you haven't given them a chance to actually redeem themselves. Yeah, but it felt like the crowd really just wanted people to fail. Yeah, and I didn't like that because he always says this thing like, who wants to see someone do well? Who wants to see someone do bad? Yeah. And I'm like the opposite. Yeah, I want to see some comedy. I want to see somebody make a name for themselves.
I also like
just absolutely blow the roof off.
Watching people squirm and like just roasts aren't for me. I don't like
worst show to go to if you don't like roasts.
Yeah, roasts aren't for me. I don't like when people are attacked for like their physical features,
stuff they can't change.
Stuff they can't change. Yeah. And it's not like positive critique. It's just like your face is fucking small.
Yeah, a guy came out and he had a very small face. When it comes out, watch the London O2 one, and when the bit with the guy with the small facial features,
they like tear him apart.
He just had no response. Yeah, on a continuous just and abuse.
I'm pretty sure did not say anything about his comedy other than like, well, that sucked. Your face is small.
It was like, how old are you? You look like you could be 12 or 75. Yeah. And I was thinking like, how old is that guy? He is 23. How are you 23?
Oh, it was rough.
Some Benjamin Button thing.
Yeah.
But then at the end of each bucket pool, if you do terribly, you still get a little joke book. Yeah. They're all handmade and all that. But yeah, you don't want a little joke book. You want to get a big joke book. Right. So he goes, here's a little joke book. He launches it and it gets him right in the eyes. Did I just hit him directly in the face? The odds of that. The smallest face guy. But yeah, it was funny. It was really good.
It was very good.
There was a Welsh guy. This is the thing I didn't like about it as well. It was always the crowd. The thing I didn't like about it was the crowd.
The things that I didn't like too were the crowd. Yeah, the people on stage were fine.
A Welsh guy came out and he was either the best one.
He was pretty good. Yeah.
One of the top 3 bucket pools. He did a really good job. But what he's like... somebody said something and called him English. He went, "Whoa, I'm not English. I'm from Wales."
Yeah, and then the audience went, "You're a sheep shagger."
Yeah, which is fine because that led on to another part of the joke and the interview. But because he was Welsh and everyone just boo.
Yeah.
Like, what, you think everyone in here is from London?
Yeah, but like it wasn't just the Welsh guy. I think by the time we got to the Welsh guy is when we were like fed up with it, because somebody I think before him was like, oh yeah, my mom's a Scouser and my dad's from Scotland, and everybody just booed that every time somebody said where they were London from. All of his life.
He was actually, I can't think what his name was. I think his name's Lee. He was in the Joker movie, the small guy. Yeah. Don't know why I just did that. The small guy.
But like every time somebody said where they were from, it was just an uproar of boos, and I was like, okay, it's just boring. Shut up.
Yeah, it's like if you're
sorry,
like if I went there and I went, oh, I'm from Bristol, boo, because we're not in London. It's like, oh, sorry.
Yeah, it was just
so I didn't like that.
The only boo that like about a place that like made sense was like the guy who was like, I live in Germany, and everybody went boo, and then he was like, oh, you guys don't like Germany?
And then Tony's like, why would they not like Germany? They don't like people from 20 minutes outside of their hometown. You think they don't have a problem with Germany?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a Brazilian guy living in Germany.
Germany,
yeah. And then we had 13 bucket pools because he's like, I am not leaving this massive show on you. We're going again. And then finally a guy came out. No idea what his name was.
I do. It was Robert.
Oh yeah.
No, it was William Robert
Billy Bobby
Joseph. Billy Bob Joe.
Billy Bob Joe. Yeah. Yeah. And he was really good.
He was funny. Yeah.
He's really good, and he sang as well.
Yeah.
It's great. And then to close the show, they brought out a legend.
A person I don't know. I
a
don't know
legend
any
of Kiltony, David Lucas, and he is actually the first. He was one of his jokes, one of his TikToks on Kiltony was the first Kiltony video I ever saw.
Yeah.
Him and Tony going at each other. And then, so he came out, and he hasn't been in it for ages, which is really cool. And he was hilarious. He was so good. Stole the show. But then it wasn't ended with him, was it? Remember the trash?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, so months and months ago, a guy was at Kiltony in America, and he said he's British, called Quincy. And they had like a viral video. Like, ooh, I'm Quincy. I'm a music producer. And then they asked him what his song was, and they started playing it. It's like, do, 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 do. It's like, oh, I am Quincy, and I have a lovely song. And then all of a sudden, it just drops into a like really hard beat, and everyone was like, oh!
Yeah.
And it went like really viral and stuff. So he thought, and fair enough, it is a good idea to do it. He thought it'd be a good idea to bring this artist on stage.
Yeah.
Just no one in the
Everybody left.
Entire arena, like
people left.
Enjoyed
they
it.
genuinely did. Like
everyone
the
was
arena
leaving.
was leaving.
They knew it was the end, but yeah, it came out and just can't remember what he was saying, but like, yeah, grime stuff. I can't remember.
I have no idea what he said.
He had his face covered like a Formula One driver would have before they put their helmet on.
Yeah.
But before they came out, David Lucas was saying
he can't take British rappers serious because
they
go boom 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 boom.
Yeah, it's like, I can't take any of you guys serious at all. And then they come out and they're like, yeah, blood. You do that. And he's literally going, I could be a rapper in the UK. All I got to do is shit down the microphone.
Wasn't that making fun of KSI?
It wasn't KSI, no.
Who did that song?
I can't remember what his name is, and it's going to drive me absolutely...
Didn't KSI come out with a pretty shit song?
Many.
Oh. There's a big one.
Many songs.
There's a big one, and I remember it was
Thick of
shit.
It. Thick of It. He came out with Thick of It, and it went viral because of how bad it was. But he played the game of that. He pretended that he cared.
Yeah.
To then,
I get it. Yeah.
But that wasn't.
But I thought it was
like
him.
No, when it was.
Who's that? What is that song?
I can't remember how it goes. It's called "Fire in the Booth" by someone. It was like, 2 + 2 is 4. Quick maths. You don't know. Something like that. I can't remember what it was. It was years ago.
I knew what he was referencing. Like I had heard that song before, but I don't know.
But then
I thought it was KSI.
We will move swiftly on because we'll come up to the hour. But
yeah.
Damn, that's gone fast. We went to the right at the front because loads of people had left because of how terrible this artist was, which was great for us because now we've just gone straight to the front as they've walked off and the band is now playing and everyone's waving and going.
Tony threw his spare joke books out.
Yeah. So we're like as close as you can get. Ari Matty comes down and starts high-fiving everyone. So I'm filming and I put my hand up and he hits it and I look at my phone and I'm like, I did not film that. Tried again, did it again, missed it again, and then finally the third time I got it.
Yeah.
And then we were like, that was cool because they all walked off. That was great. Actually got to get really close and see them and all that. Went to the right to what I thought was the exit because a bunch of people queued. And David Lucas was just there. Mm-hmm. So I had a picture with him. Yeah. He was great. And we left. And then this morning, I put it on my Instagram story, and they both reposted it, which is cool.
That is cool.
Yeah. Well, cool. Proper fanboy I was.
Yeah, you are. You always are when we go see something for you.
Shout out.
I'm the complete opposite. If we go see something for me, oh yeah, I don't care.
Right. So if they were like queue up here to meet people and it's like a half an hour wait, then I wouldn't have bothered. I would have just probably got out of there.
Bullshit.
I wouldn't have. I would have waited. But
you would have waited.
It was because he was literally just there. So I'm like, when am I ever gonna see him ever again in person? Like,
that's how I felt about Barnes Courtney.
We're gonna see Barnes Courtney again. Why are we talking about Barnes Courtney?
Because that's my kind of show. Like that's the
Barnes
last show that
Courtney's
we went
great.
to for me.
We had an opportunity to queue up there, but it wasn't like legit though. Some random drunk people said queue up here.
And we lifted him anyway.
Oh yeah.
We held him.
This makes no sense on the podcast at all.
Barnes Courtney jumps into the crowd while he's singing and like crowd surfs.
Yeah, I held his bum.
Yeah.
Pushed
I
him
don't
along.
think I held his bum. I think I held it under his knee.
People probably haven't got a clue who Barnes Courtney is.
He's great. Give him a listen.
Yeah. Oh, so we've been having some technical difficulty for some reason. We did a whole podcast like a couple of days ago, and my mic just cut out after 2 minutes for a whole hour. And we've just looked down and saw that my mic wasn't on again. I think it was only like the last 5 minutes. But if that cut there didn't make sense, really sorry about that. But I think we stayed at a hotel.
Yeah.
We've drove back today. Saw the kids. I've got work tomorrow.
Yep.
That was our weekend in London. Absolutely loved it, and thank you so much. Honestly,
I had a great time.
Yeah, I know, but you fully did it for me.
Well, yeah, but
like
it's still fun.
Like, yeah, I know, but even like Sam Fender, you loved it, but you weren't really into his music. But you did that for me, and especially with Kill Tony as well. So
yeah, definitely Kill Tony.
Thank you. What is the next weekend out together gonna be? What's Sarah gonna pick? We've done a weekend for me. What do you want to do?
I don't know. I haven't really thought about it.
All right, we'll
I'm like fully focused on my visa right now.
Yeah.
I can't really think of anything other than that.
Wish Sarah luck. She's got the Life in the UK test, and it is ridiculously hard.
Yes.
Like, British people will not pass it unless you're like a genius. Like, it's not common knowledge, is what I mean.
Some of it's common knowledge, but some of it is not common.
Some of it's
knowledge.
like, if you watch the TV shows, like The Chase and all that stuff, and like, who did this in 1604?
I think it's
and
just,
you're like, I don't know. And
I think it's just the variety of information that you need to know. So you need to know the history of the UK, which started like they mostly quiz you on what happened from 1066 onward. There's some things before that, but it's mostly 1066 onward. The monarchy, current laws, when laws were passed, and then you need to know a lot about religions that currently are in the UK.
it's just so much stuff.
Yeah.
What was that? Oh, another one was, who was the first British cyclist? I'm going to challenge you now because I know you know it. Who was the first British cyclist to win the Tour de France? Now, when you asked me that, I was like, well, I'm not into cycling, so why would I? And it's in France. I know it's a British guy, but it's a French race, so not a clue. Who was it?
I can't think of his name now.
Oh, you're joking.
I can picture your friend that I use for but I can't think of his name. That's the problem.
Wiggins. Bradley Wiggins. I'm American. Oh,
You're American?
I'm more British than you.
Well, yeah, you were born
I know, but I know more.
But I have like little things that I'm using to remember, specifically names about sports people and that kind of stuff, because I don't know, like I don't follow any sports.
Yeah. All right, we'll leave it with one question that she's going to get right. Who was the captain of England when England won the World Cup in 1966?
I'm just kidding. I know this. Bobby Moore.
Woo! She's going to pass. Next time we upload, you would have already taken it.
Yeah.
So find out in the next episode if Sarah is going to be English or not. Thanks, everyone.
See you after bedtime.